Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Okay, Pisces, let's get real right away. So we're going to talk about what Pisces rising really means. We're going to talk about what this Libra season has in store for you. Each of the piles is correlated to a different part of your life, and each part of your life is going to be activated by the cycles of the moon. So we have the first pile, which is the new moon in Libra on September 25th. That's hitting your 8th house. So this is your spirituality pile. And then we're going to shift to October 2nd with the first quarter moon in Capricorn and the 11th house. That is your career focus. Then we're going to shift to October 9th with the full moon in Aries and your 2nd house, which is all about you. And then October 17th with the third quarter moon in Cancer and the 5th house, which is going to be all about romance and love. Now, it seems as though as I go through all of these rising sign messages, I get different messages for each one, of course, but some get channeled TV shows, some get channeled movies, some get channeled songs, some I'm just getting visions and images. For you guys, it was like quick, fast, and to the point here with what came through. First, it was 3 different spiritual gifts. I heard telepathy, I heard astral travel, and then I heard earth angels are getting their wings. And I actually felt pressure in my mid-back, kind of between my shoulder blades. And it didn't feel like pain. It just felt like pressure, a little bit of heaviness. But not, I guess the best way I can describe it is it's what I would equate to the feeling of having very large wings on your back. That's how it felt. I got 3 songs for you guys, and one of them just so happens to be my favorite song right now. The first song was Just Dance by Lady Gaga. The second one was Middle Fingers by Missio, which I have a funny story to tell you guys about that. And the third one, which is my favorite, is WITCH by Devin Cole. It's witch, but it's an anagram and it stands for woman in total control of herself. And the song is just phenomenal for self-empowerment. But when it comes to middle fingers, I couldn't help but think of my son. And I actually commented back with a different one of my readings to one of the viewers about how my son and I are planning on doing another collaboration. He's, of course, 9 years old. So when I call it a collaboration, it's because he comes in and he does his own reading for you guys to start the readings off. And then I pull additional cards and go from there. So we are going to be doing a Halloween reading, just as a little snippet for you guys. But when the song Middle Fingers by Missio is literally like that big FU song. It's one of those moments where you just decide that it's like IDGAF, like I don't care anymore. So I'm going to do this. And that was the energy I was picking up. All 3 of these songs have that energy, that IDGAF. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. But my son, instead of middle fingers, when he was, I think it was 2 or 3 years old, he thought it said little fingers. So he used to sit and dance like this. He'd go, put your little fingers in the air. I don't know if that's synchronistic for you guys, something about pinkies. I'm not sure. I do know that, I actually sent my husband a picture the other day, which was really abnormal for me. I don't normally do stuff like that, but he he was talking to me about me doing these readings, and I had a really rough night the night prior. So I have PCOS, and I have been getting cysts on my right ovary. And it's the only ovary I have left. It's like the only female body part I have left down there. I've had a hysterectomy and an oophorectomy and all of that fun stuff. If you're interested in finding out any of that, that is actually in my book, Something Spiritually Catchy. I talk about my medical journey in that book. But when I get these cysts, it's very, very painful. It's hard to sit in my chair. It's hard to move around. My abdomen hurts a lot because there's something just pressing on a bunch of nerves and taking up space that it shouldn't be there. And then, it's just not a fun thing. So the night prior to doing the fixed signs readings, I was in a lot of pain. So he asked me how I was feeling, and I was like, you know what? As I'm doing these readings, I feel really great. Like, I love tapping into your guys' energies because it just feels so wonderful to me. And he goes, do you promise? Like, he's a warrior. He wants to make sure that I'm at my best all the time. And so I literally sent him a picture of my pinky, and I was like, and he goes, oh, pinky promise. I see what you did there. So that I have the feeling that I'm telling you this because there's something in it for you. Like there's something that is going to be synchronistic. So you know that this is real. Like, this reading is real. So the reason why I say it that way is because, first of all, Pisces rising. So what is a rising sign? A rising sign is when the sun breaks the horizon on the day of your birth. It's based off of the day, the location, and the time of your birth. And it's a very exacting process. I don't calculate them myself. I do know how, sort of. I'd have to do like massive refreshers because I think I've only done it a few times. But it is calculable online. And that's why there's that link down in the description box for astro-seek.com. So you guys can get your rising sign. But when the sun hits that horizon, the sun is like the essence. It's the life giver. This is the point in your chart that is the most absolute, purest essence of who you are. And it's the part of you that your soul decided to become in this life. That is the embodiment of your soul. We can see the moon as the same thing or similar to it. It's pieces of the whole. When you have a Pisces rising, you're like the most fluid of the water signs. You are the most, I'm going to turn into whatever form of water I need to turn into in order to make sure that everything around me is settled. And you give 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 and you give. Like, it doesn't stop because it's who you are. It's your natural essence. It's your natural way of being. You are the dreamers, and you're like the walking fae in this world, the walking fairies, the ones who know all the fairy tales, and you know the reality of life, but the reality of life never stops you from seeing the fairy tale. And as an adult, it can be really hard for you to see that, to just always believe it, because you know the truth is that no matter how much you hold on to that fairy tale, no matter what, life is going to kick you in the teeth. And the depth of caring and compassion that you have can feel like the biggest weight on your shoulder. Maybe just one of your shoulders, because apparently that is the only one that wanted to come through. But Pisces, have you guys felt as though the whole of the cosmos has been like riding you for the past, let's say, and what, the 9th month, the past 7 months, 6-7 months or so? And I'm filming this on Mabon, or the very start of Libra season, the 22nd. And as soon as Libra season started, because I was already tapped into your guys' energy, the biggest feeling I had was, thank God. Like, oh, it feels so good. If you haven't felt this yet, wait for it. You see, the reason why is because the sun has been opposing your sign the entire Virgo season. So the sun has been shining essentially your mirror. And that's that is about as equivalent as a 12th house transit. Because you're sitting there and you're staring at the opposite of you. And it's what you want in relationships, but it's what you want in relationships because it's what you want in yourself. And you have to accept the fact that you want that in yourself. But it's hard to, because you are so much more adept at giving than at receiving. And that is something that really, really strongly feels like Spirit and your guides have really been working with you strongly on changing. So now you are getting accustomed to learning how to receive and not feeling guilty, not feeling ashamed, and not feeling egotistical or better than anyone else, or afraid that you'll be painted in that light. You're learning how to essentially blend yourself with your inner child and let the world see that, let the world receive that, and then you are choosing to receive the world in turn. And because you've made this choice, everything is starting to change. And now we get to the essence of your reading is this dreams and incubation card. And you know, the funny thing is I'm sitting here and I'm reading this, and can you guys see the light orbs? I am sitting here and I'm reading this energy right now. I'm not even really looking at anything aside from like my computer screen, but I'm not really staring at much. I actually have been staring at this just because it's a focal point for me. And I didn't even remember that the energy of your overall reading is, or your overall season of Libra, is that incubation and dreams state. Astral travel makes more sense. However, this isn't so much about like vivid dreaming or anything like that. That came through in a different energy and a different rising sign. This is more like your dreams have been incubating long enough and now it's time to wake up. And this doesn't mean the way that you have probably heard it a lot in your life of like, hey, it's time for you to wake up and face the music, wake up and smell the coffee, whatever. No, Spirit is saying it's time for you to wake up from this incubation period because your dreams are ready. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why we come back to these 3 songs, Just Dance, Middle Fingers, and Witch. And they will be linked in the description box, I promise. We come back to these 3 songs, and these 3 songs are saying, it's time for you to dance with life. It's time for you to take that deep, soul cleansing breath of fresh air and to start again, because now is your time. So let's talk a little bit about Mabon and Ostara. So if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in Mabon, which lasts 24 hours. And if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you are celebrating Ostara. These are the equinox festivals or sabbats. And Mabon represents the time in which Persephone or Proserpina, depending on whether you're reading Greek or Roman mythology, went down into the underworld to return back to Hades or Pluto. and her role as the queen of the underworld. Her mother, Demeter or Ceres, was so saddened by her daughter leaving and having to go back to the underworld that she withdrew her blessings, her fertility, her abundance, her agriculture and grain support from the physical world during the time her daughter was gone. And it was this withdrawal that she did that made it so pertinent, so important to make sure that Persephone or Proserpina was able to come back from the underworld, even though she shouldn't have been able to, because she did eat a pomegranate seed, whether by her own volition or because she was convinced to. That is neither here nor there. If you can tell, I love mythology. It is one of my deepest passions, but I only love mythology because of astrology. That's a really weird way it came into my life, because I did not used to love astrology the way that or love mythology like this until I started getting involved with the planets. But with this story, this is a story that the Greeks told in order to explain how harvest season worked. And while it's understandable, okay, this is how harvest season works, so this is how, we're doing it. In reality, it was about the changing of the seasons. And so if we think about it this way, especially for Pisces, because Pisces is the mother and the son fish. You think about the mother and the daughter fish, depending. I mean, the mythology is the mother and the son, but we're not going to get into that. But it's about the protection of the parent for the child. It's protecting the inner child, protecting the innocence, protecting the wisdom that is carried within that essence. And that is all any parent wants to do. I know I'm a parent. All I ever want is for my children to have the fullness of a childhood, for them to not be living necessarily in a day and age in which the world is the way it is right now. But this is the world that they were born into. This is the world I brought them into. So it is my job, it is my role as their mom to teach them to believe in magic, to know that magic is real, to see that anything is possible, even if I struggle with that myself. Pisces, you're the people, you're the sign, the energy out in the cosmos that remind all of us of that. You are like the divine mother of the zodiac. And that's such a beautiful but heavy burden. And that burden has been weighing heavily on your shoulders. And I have seen that burden weighing heavily on your shoulders for several months, because there is a balance and a counterbalance to everything. And in Libra season, we get to learn about that balance and counterbalance. But that balance and counterbalance this year happened to just fall during Pisces season and needed to be rebalanced during Virgo season. And I've been saying since Pisces season that Pisces season kicked my ass. It kicked my emotional ass. I felt like I was being beaten bloody, up one way and down the other all the time. But I'm here, and I transformed because of it. And I couldn't have done it without that deep, compassionate, empathetic energy that is Pisces energy. Now, you have Neptune moving through your first house. You have Neptune literally stripping away illusions every year that he goes into retrograde. But the illusions that are being stripped away are that of impossibilities, that of limitations, that of being dependent or needing this or needing that, because Neptune in Pisces is a sovereign energy. And that's what Neptune is teaching us. And that's what you are learning. And it's not an easy journey for you. Wherever Pisces falls in everybody else's chart, that's where we're learning true sovereignty. For me, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It falls in my 8th house. So I am learning sovereignty in the realms of magic and the occult and the mystical and the magical and sex, death, and taxes. And of course, the life and rebirth cycle. But the 8th house and all of its murky wonders is where I'm learning sovereignty. And it's been a hell of a fucking journey. Forgive my language. But with you guys right now, I feel like that's what you need. I talked earlier about my book, Something Spiritually Catchy. That book is something that might help you guys ignite a fire within you because you're such a watery energy. It might help you ignite a fire within you to be like, okay, I'm going to stand in my power here because that's the whole purpose of it. I got really pissed off. I got pissed at friends that screwed me over. I got pissed at family that screwed me over. I got pissed at the justice system that screwed me over. I got pissed at my own body that screwed me over. And so I wrote about it all. And then I went back and edited it all. And then I figured out that throughout all of this pissed off anger, there were deep lessons and clearing of karma and clearing of my chakras. And again, this is another shout out to Aso Tarot because I love Aso Tarot, but this book would not have come into being had it not been for one of her videos where she said, when we swear, we clear our throat chakra. And I went, huh, that makes perfect sense. And that's what I did. And I just saw 22:11 on the clock for you guys. All right. So Pisces, I could probably sit here and keep talking to you guys like this all day long because I feel such a kinship with you guys. This is predominantly because even though Pisces is in my 8th house, Pisces rules the 12th house and I am 12th house dominated in my chart. So that's your little insight about me. So without further ado, I'm going to pause the video and then get everything set up for the first pile, the new moon in Libra with the 8th house and spirituality. And we are going to go ahead and cover the collective messages, and then we're going to cover the personal messages for each of the sections. And then I'm going to let you guys go. And I will see you at spirituality. All right, Pisces. We are on the new moon in Libra, and this is happening in your 8th house. And oh, spirit works in such fun ways. We did just talk about the 8th house, the murky waters of the occult 8th house. This is all about your spirituality. Now, this new moon falling in your 8th house, it really does cover a lot about you. This is an internal moon cycle. So we've got 4 planets making a stellium. You've got the sun and the moon in Libra, as well as Mercury retrograded and Venus in Virgo. With this crossover, this is about your 7th and 8th house. So this is a radical transformation of your relationships. So even though we are looking at spirituality, this is, ooh, wow, energy just moved through. And I did see a light orb too. Right at the same time, there they are. They have literally been everywhere in here for all of these readings. So if you do like watch the screen like a hawk, you're going to see them. I get really excited by them because it seems like that's going to be like a key feature to these readings. It's really crazy to me. I absolutely love it. But when we're talking about Virgo and Libra, we're talking about your 7th house and your 8th house. This is a time to allow for a radical spiritual transformation within the ways that you connect with yourself, with spirit, with the ethereal realm with the Akashic field. Essentially, this is going to help radically transform the way that you connect to everything. And in doing so, it's actually going to help transform your connections in your interpersonal life as well as out in the outside world. Because these 4 planets that are blending their energies together, including the energies of your 7th and your 8th house and Libra and Virgo, these energies are blending together and they are harmonizing with Pluto and Capricorn. Now, Pluto and Capricorn is at the 26th degree. I talked about this in my Capricorn or in my Pluto retrograde guidebook. And this 26th degree is a critical degree. Now, when I tell you that I talked about it in the book, I'm going to tell you what happened when I found this out. So I tracked every one of Pluto's retrograde cycles back to see what happened based off of my own chart. What happened in my personal life when Pluto was hitting these critical degrees in Capricorn. So the critical degrees are 0, 13, and 26. When Pluto hit the 13th degree, I literally got divorced. 8 years of marriage to a man who had abused me and cheated on me for years. And Pluto hits that 13th degree, goes retrograde, and I got divorced. It was profound. It was amazing. It was life impactful. Not only was Pluto retrograded on the 13th degree at a critical degree, it was touching my vertex. It was retrograding over my vertex or my destiny point. It was at that point that there was a radical transformation of the destiny of my life. And had it not been for that divorce, I would not be here at this channel doing this reading. That's how powerful Pluto is. And the funny thing is Pluto's retrograde guidebook took me like 6 days to write. It was the most exhilarating time of my life. And I just remember feeling nothing but creative inspiration and radical changes. It was insane. It was amazing. But that is the energy that you're working with Pluto at this 26th degree. It's this, let's get really creative and let's really radically transform it. And we're going to be doing it based off of your hopes and dreams, Pisces, because Pluto is going through your 11th house. And while the 11th house is definitely about your connections, your friendships, your community, your collaboration out in the outside world, it is what starts at home and then moves outward. And that would be your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and how you take those and transform them into something lucrative and prosperous. With you, there's always going to be some sort of spiritual edge to it. There just will. But there's a calling spirit has had go out. And I know I've felt it. But I feel like a lot of Pisces are feeling it, where it's a calling to help others find their path that isn't, but is spirituality. And that sounds so confusing, except I feel like you guys are going to get it. It's kind of like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is. It's like, okay, let me show you this person. Let me show you this profession. Now take everything that you've learned about life and yourself and everything and apply it to this profession. For instance, my daughter is deeply psychic. She is a healer. But you know what she wants to do in her life? She wants to be a lawyer. She wants to be a children's advocacy lawyer because the courts didn't listen to her lawyer. And so she got inspired by her own lawyer during a custody battle which is another story, and also in something spiritually catchy, where she wasn't allowed to speak in court. The courts didn't give her voice. They brought her in, put her on the stand, interviewed her, only long enough to make sure that she understood the concept of what she was there to do, and to have the judge tell her and me that we were both doing the right thing. And then the judge to say, yeah, you're not going to talk. So he brought her in, swore her in, only to say, I'm not going to let you speak. That moment right there where she could have looked at her relationship with the court system and said, this is effed. I'm never going to deal with the legal system again. She could have done that, but instead what she did was she looked at it and this is wrong, and I have the power to right this wrong. And I have watched her, and she's only 14 years old right now, but I don't have a single doubt in my mind that this girl is going to change the world in this way at all. We go through moments in life in which something radically transforms. This moon phase is giving you the opportunity. You have been through hell, high water, and a side of like a shot of fireball just to take the edge off. And please know that I am not encouraging anyone to use alcohol for any reason at all. I am a recovering alcoholic. I do not support that, but that's just the imagery that came through. When you tap into this moon phase is asking you to think about you in terms of spirituality, in terms of your relationship with sex, death, life, the occult, mystery, magic, mediumship, telepathy, astral travel, healing, channeling, the shadow. You're being asked to think about these things and how you relate to them. Practically, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and then allow for them to be rebalanced so that there is an equal give and take between you and the spiritual realm. So things are harmonized so that you can transform yourself. Spirit asks all of us to do 3 things during this moon phase. Take personal accountability, take spiritual responsibility, and surrender. Let's find out how these 3 are going to impact you here. We have arrow and focus. We have 24, adjustment, looking back, moving forward. A lot of arrows, you guys. We have the full moon in Sagittarius, see the bigger picture. If you're thinking about getting an arrow tattoo, Spirit is letting you know that that's a good idea, and it will give you confidence, but it will also be a constant reminder of where you have been and where you are going. We've got the card 39, relaxation, peaceful pursuits, and happy times. And this is the El Qui deck, I believe is how you pronounce it. And it is the She Who deck. But I want to give a nod to Baba Jolie's guided messages because she uses this deck, but she says the one who so that there's no gender connotation, but still gets the essence of the card and the messages, which are quite profound. And I wanted to give her a nod because I am actually going to do as she is. And I apologize if you guys can hear sirens in the background. I do have windows open because I wanted you guys to hear the rain. And before I flip this, I wanted to mention something. So I started taking cold showers recently, and they are so rejuvenating and so amazing for my body. The reason why I mentioned that is because it all of a sudden started raining tonight where I am at. It was like Libra season started and it started raining. And my husband came home and he said, it's a really cold rain. And it's a cold rain. It's not cold enough to snow, but it's a cold rain. And this is the kind of rain that I absolutely love. I love this rain. It's the kind of rain where you grab a book and a blanket and you sit in front of the fire and you sip on coffee or hot cocoa or hot tea or something like that. But what I felt like was happening was Spirit and Mother Nature is literally giving the world a cold shower to wake it up. And they're doing this because of Pisces energy. Because Pisces energy is ready to wake up. And we talked about that with your dreams. And I wanted to mention that, and it kept slipping my mind. And then I heard the sirens and it brought me to the rain. And so Spirit works in such beautiful ways, don't you think? All right. So we have Makita, the one who sees, observe, perceive, and scrutinize. That's really funny considering what we were just talking about. All right. And then your tarot cards. We have 12 of air, or the Knight of Air with the scribe. We've got the card 15 and abundance. And then 11 of fire, or the Page of Fire with masculine and feminine. Okay, so first of all, I said the Akashic Records, and this is being reconfirmed. Anytime I see any card that says the scribe on it, my first thought is Metatron, and my actual first brainwave goes straight to the Hierophant card in the Hermetic Tarot deck. I don't use that deck on this channel, or rather I haven't used that deck on this channel. I think the last time I used it was when I was reading for Amanda from the Done Creative, which shout out Amanda. Hi, honey. I love you. She's not actually a Pisces rising, but still. I don't use it often because the symbolism of it is so overpowering that when I use it, the downloads that come in have me flitting everywhere, like a hummingbird. It's just crazy. Some of you may want to watch Pocahontas. And I'm almost positive that for the majority of you that I'm saying that to, you have heard that from Lexi multiple times, because that means that you and I have picked the same piles from Lexi's reading, because is it Grandmother Willow, right? I believe Grandmother Willow. That and Just Around the River Bend always show up in my readings with her. Which is funny, and my ears are ringing super high. But this brings me back to that card, and that card signified the very start of my journey here. I first interacted with that card on Samhain, or Halloween, All Hallows Eve of 2020. And it was one of the most profound experiences ever, just touching the card, looking at the card. And I remember looking at it, and it felt like this was a person who just channeled wisdom, who wrote wisdom, who shared wisdom. And I went, that's what I want to do. This is what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And then, of course, my human brain came in and overcomplicated it. I overcomplicated the F out of it. It's just like this abundance card. The abundance card correlates to the devil card, which also has been showing up as I was preparing for your guys' reading. You decide something that you want to do, and then you get in your head, and your head really twists everything all around all the time. Again, I'm being brought to so many different things right now. And that might be the biggest problem that you guys have. This arrow focus and the full moon in Sagittarius, to see the bigger picture. I just actually finished doing Sagittarius's reading, and it literally took me nearly all day today, because throughout the entire day, I was like, oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. Oh, look at that shiny object. Oh, look, a squirrel. Literally all day long. I sat down to do this reading for you guys after 11 p.m. my time. And these readings take a good long while. Don't apologize or feel bad or anything like that. This is a personal choice I'm making because I am ready for the energies. So stop it. Stop. That's a people-pleasing tendency. And I don't have any problem calling you on that because I'm the same way. But you may have some issues with focusing. And the reason why the Sagittarius stuff came back is because that's really the energy I was getting throughout my Sagittarius reading. But it didn't correlate to the actual Sagittarius reading. It actually was your guys' energy. So in that way, I want you guys to understand that adjustments were made for me today so that I could talk to you guys about all of this. Because this adjustment card, it actually carries the energy of Neptune in your first house, where you may have been constantly doing this, looking back and moving forward, looking back and moving forward. And that really is the energy of the arrow. So what is it that you are observing? What is it that you are seeing? What is it that you want to do? What are you focusing on here? Because in spirituality, everything comes in a sense of balance. And that's something that you're learning. You're learning to do that. So this adjustment, the reason why I say it correlates to Neptune is because in my Neptune retrograde guidebook, I talk about the very first name that was proposed for Neptune. And it wasn't Neptune. It was Janus. And Janus is the two-faced god, but not two-faced in the way that we think two-faced. Literally had two faces, one that could see the past, one that could see the future. So Janus was the god of doorways, the god of transitions, the god of transformation, the god of the liminal spaces. And Janus always the energy calls for us to look to the past, get those lessons so that we do it the right way moving forward. That I'm always going to be the person that says history is only doomed to repeat itself if we don't learn from it. If we learn from it and we grow from it, we don't repeat the same cycles. We go through them, but we don't perpetuate them. If you want this peaceful pursuits, this happy times, this rest, you have to see the bigger picture. You have to see where you are focusing your energy, where you have focused your energy in the past, and whether that is actually helping your dreams come to fruition. If it's not, Spirit is saying you are a spiritual being. You're on a spiritual journey. You want to make spirituality something for yourself. This is all showing me that there are adjustments being made so that you have a chance to rest, so you have a chance to take a break, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're abundant without feeling guilty about it. There is no shame in you being an abundant person. There is no shame in feeling like, oh my gosh, the world has just torn me down. You know what? And I'm going to, again, go back to Lexi the Leo because this is a lesson that she taught me. Sometimes we're the arrow. Sometimes we are the arrow. And when we are the arrow, that means that we have to be either put in the scabbard or taken out. And if we're taken out of the scabbard, then we're put into the actual bow. Excuse me, I had to yawn. When we're put into the bow gets pulled back. So you're holding the bow, you pull it back. We're the arrow. We're yanked back. So everything feels like we're being yanked back. We're looking back. Plus, I mean, you guys have to think, Mercury is in retrograde. So we're going to be looking back at all the times where we felt like things were better, things were easier, things were happier. And by we, I mean you. And we're going to be like, okay, how do I get there? And once you realize how you get there, you simply let go. Because if you look, you've got this arrow here and there's an archer here, but they're holding an archery bow that does not have an arrow anymore. You already have seen it. You know where you want to go. Where you want to go is to a place of balance, action, and receptivity. It's a place with a community. It's a place with prosperity. It's a place with abundance. It's a place with love. It's a place with wisdom. And it's a place that you belong. And you do belong there. You belong here. Spirit, you may have felt like you have been pushed and pulled and beaten bloody, but it has not been for nothing. Spirit was pulling you back because it's time for you to launch forward. As soon as you see the bigger picture and you balance these energies, that's what's going to happen. And this new moon is that rebalancing energy. It is that transformation energy. So all you have to do is embrace it. All right, Pisces, let's move on to the first quarter moon in Capricorn. Hello, Pisces. We are back and we are on the first quarter moon in Capricorn, which is happening on October 2nd. And this is falling in your 11th house. And I'm one of those astrologers where I don't like to pick favorites, but the 11th house kind of is like one of my favorite houses, just because I spend so much of my life wanting and wishing and hoping for dreams to come true. And at the same time, wondering whether those dreams would ever come true. I threw myself into communities and groups and all of these things. We're going to take the train as confirmation there. I threw myself into all of these places, hoping to find my place in the world, but never really being at home within myself first. So it always felt like a pipe dream. It always felt like just this constant battle to find these places, and always finding myself in the outs, always finding myself not quite meshing, always finding myself on the receiving end of someone else's projections or my own projections onto other people, and knowing that it was time to walk away. It was never an easy thing, and it was something that deeply challenged me. And so in the past, I would have told you this house is like the worst. But in reality, if it weren't for the journey to discover and enlighten myself about this house, I would not be here. So this house is so important. This 11th house and how it really takes your career onto a new level. It takes the work that you do in the world and the ability to live the life that you truly dream about to a whole new level when you embrace it. With yours being Capricorn, this is where you can find as though your own dreams and wishes make you feel so restricted. You can, because you're a mutable sign, having Capricorn there can make you feel that way. But the real trick to this is to realize that Capricorn is seen in the light of the mountain goat only. So the Capricorn symbolism is the goat, but it's not a mountain goat. It's actually a sea goat, which means this is a beautiful place for you to learn how to ground all of those imaginative, creative ideas that you have into the physical, into a community, into the world. It's the perfect house for you to take all your dreams and really root them into the physical world in order to manifest them. Now, collectively, this first quarter moon in Capricorn is, as I've been telling all the other piles, it's a bloody chart. It looks red. It looks bloody. It looks like tension. It looks like what I would describe as anxiety. It looks like social anxiety in a chart phase. And that's exactly what we're going to be experiencing, is a lot of anxious triggers, depressive triggers, painful triggers, because the moon is squaring off with the sun, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, and Neptune. It's coming into a trioctile with Uranus and an octile with Saturn. All of this tension, all of this internal, external tension points within the moon and all of these other planets are occurring in order for us to learn to take the initiative here to respond differently. With this moon being in Capricorn, Capricorn ruled by Saturn, we're talking about cause and effect. A lot of people call it karma, but karma is nothing more or less than the effect of the things, the actions and the inactions that we take or do not take. It is all about what we cause in the world and how that affects others and ourselves. This moon phase is helping us find those points of trigger out in the world. It's helping us find those points of trigger that hit us internally so that we can gain greater inner awareness, greater accountability, greater emotional depth, and realize that it's time to surrender to the emotional responses that we had before, stop being reactive, and learn to be proactive, or just take a step back, take a breather, and realize, hey, this is making me feel this way. Why is it making me feel this way? Okay, now I know why it's making me feel this way. What is the cause of it? Now I know the cause, let me move forward. That way you don't keep perpetuating those same cycles. A really, really great way for this is, number one, of course, the same thing as the new moon. It's that continuance of personal accountability. But as we continue to take personal accountability, each and every one of us, we also are experiencing Black Moon Lilith during this moon very, very strongly. Now, Black Moon Lilith, there are a lot of different theories and beliefs and opinions and mythologies surrounding it, but Black Moon Lilith to me is all about the shadow of the moon, the shadow of the soul, of the energy of the soul of the collective, especially when we're looking at collective charts. And she is out of bounds and at the energetic degree in Cancer. This means that she does not follow any of the astrological rules. Any planet that goes out of bounds is no longer under the guise of the sun. It no longer follows the rules. When that happens, the predictability of that planet shifts dramatically. So it's up to energy readers to really understand how this works. Each and every one of us, I believe, is an energy reader. So this doesn't make it as though like I'm more special than anybody else. Please don't take it that way. No. This is, we're all energy readers, so we're being called to ask to read the energy of where this is going to happen, because what Black Moon Lilith is really doing for the collective and what you need to ask yourself how it's going to impact you, because this is hitting your 5th house, your house of romance, your house of self-expression, your house of creativity, your house of pleasure and excitement and fun and, you know, it's your house of your inner child in the most pure form. It's the house of your inner child. And that's where Black Moon Lilith is seeking transformation for you, Pisces. And this transformation is a literal magical release from ancestral and generational patterns of subjugation. And that, to me, has always been Black Moon Lilith's point. She wants to break us out of these subjugating roles, these roles that make us feel as though we are being held down and held prisoner and put into some sort of stereotypical placement in our life, and allow us to really break free of that so that we can feel that freedom and express that freedom. As we move through this, with all the tension that we're feeling, we're going to be called to reevaluate communication, especially. There's a golden ticket energy to this moon phase, and that is Mercury. Mercury is stationing to go direct, which means that all of the energy is focused on Mercury. Now, Mercury is forming harmony, like harmonious aspects with Uranus in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. This harmonious aspect here gives way to transformative, innovative, creative communication that comes from the divine. towards us. And it's in a much more rooted manner. If any of you guys have pets, you may find yourself literally like sitting in your kitchen talking to your pet and knowing what your pet is responding with. That happened to me last night as I was in between your piles. That happened to me and I was like, whoa, this is new for me. I've experienced bits and pieces of psychic communication with my pets, but nothing to this degree. And of course, I looked like a crazy person sitting in my kitchen talking to my cat, but, I was cutting up pie pumpkins, so that I could put them in freezer bags because it was time to replenish my stock after making the apple pumpkin butter, which you guys can check out on my shorts. But I was replenishing my pumpkin and she was sitting there staring at me. And all of a sudden I heard, "I want some." And I looked at her and she just kind of cocked her head to the side. And I looked at her and I go, "You're not going to like this." And then I heard, "Please, like, I want some." And I was like, okay. And I really, like, for a second there, I was like, I'm going crazy. I am sleep deprived. I need to go to bed, like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. It's been a chaotic day. Maybe that's just what it is. No. So I set the pumpkin down on the counter. She hadn't even meowed at me. And normally she will when she wants something. I set the pumpkin down on the counter. And that's when she meowed and she started batting at it. And then she sniffed at it and like licked it. And she's like, "That's gross." And I said, "I told you so." And she just was like, "I didn't think," she was like, "I didn't think that you were being serious." And then she just kind of shook her head and sneezed at me and ran away. And all of her mannerisms were exactly that. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because the communication that we're getting from the spiritual realm and from the divine is going to come in ways like this. For every different sign, I've seen it in a multitude of different ways, but yours is arguably the funnest. And I'm using it as a word, funnest. Not most fun, funnest, because I love Elle Woods. If you don't know that reference, go watch Legally Blonde right now. And yes, I'm pointing and I know it's rude, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right. So with the divine coming through and really like grounding in this communicative style for us, let's find out what it is that this moon phase is going to be impacting directly for you, Pisces. So we've got the card 33 with Angels and Masters, 49 with Achievement, Effort plus Intention, the first quarter moon in Aquarius with Trust the Universe. I love that. The card 7, Past Life Guides, Karmic Lessons, Present Assistance. And then Zenith, the one who prepares, formulate, strategize, and devise. This is so reminiscent of your other one about observing and scrutinizing. You guys are literally like, I know what I'm doing here. All right. These are off kilter, are they not? I think my camera is off kilter. All right. And then your tarot cards. We have the Knight of Blades, the Knight of Bones. Wow. And the Page of Bones. Okay. Give me just one moment. All right. I had to go get more coffee. It's early in the morning. I went and got some rest, but it was definitely something that I needed to give myself a break on. All right. So Capricorn moon here. Capricorn. How is this Capricorn moon really impacting you, Pisces? Inspiration, motivation, creation. You guys are going in order. Like I said, with Makata coming in the pile before, the moon phase before, or Makita, forgive me, it was about the one who sees. Now it's the one who prepares. You've been through the mill. You've been through that challenge, that struggle, that tension. Neptune is retrograded in your first house. This is literally like it's time for things to come forward. Things from the past, that cause and effect that we talked about, those karmic lessons, that cause and effect that we talked about. as you continue taking the effort to overcome that, there is going to be a change. When I saw this buffalo spirit, I thought of the grounded nature of the bison and how bison really do nourish our bodies. Their meat is so much better for us. And if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, I 100% respect that. And I only ask that on my channel, you respect people who also eat meat, because we all have our own belief systems, but we also all have our own physical bodies that need certain things and can't process certain things. And I'm saying this, I don't feel like I have to actually say this to you, Pisces, but I'm saying this because I'm a person that needs to actually eat meat. And the reason why is because I have a weird genetic makeup and I have a hard time processing certain foods. The protein level in meat is actually highly beneficial for my body. It's things like this where in the past, if somebody would have said something that goes against your own belief systems, it may have triggered you to question whether your beliefs are right, question whether you're doing the right thing. And now you're realizing that those ways of questioning yourself have literally just gotten you wrapped up in your head. So now you're taking the effort to actually hear other perspectives, to see other perspectives, and then to evaluate what your truth is, trust in your own personal path, trust in your own ability for achievement, and move beyond it. And when you do that, there's something so important here with this past life guides for you to be aware of. And that's the fact that as you move forward and you willingly change these things in your life, you actually are helping to break yourself and your family line free of these patterns from the past. That is that magical release from ancestral and generational patterns of subjugation. Some of you may have some patterns of loss of love and distrust that go back to like Vietnam times. If some of you are pretty young, you might want to look towards your grandparents. If you're in that age range, maybe think about how that impacted you. I don't know definitively because I know, like for me personally, my dad was stationed in Hawaii during Vietnam. But other than that, I don't know a lot on a personal level about the war because it didn't really deeply impact me or my family. However, this message from the war in Vietnam and that time frame has been coming in very strongly since yesterday. And with this past life guides, that's actually the energy I picked up from this revolutionary soldier. There's just something there. So some of you, if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, please, please don't try to make something like that fit because that's a very, very specific message. But Pisces, when you find these triggers, when you discover these triggers, when you discover these points in which something comes in and just twists your mindset, twists your perception of yourself and of others into something that you feel like you can't trust anyone or anything. When that happens, surrender it. Surrender it immediately. Call on your angels, call on your ascended masters, call on the guides that are coming forth during this moon phase and saying, hi, we were here in a past life. We are here for you now. Surrender it to them. Say, please take this from me. I can no longer carry this. Because when you allow yourself to do that, like truly, truly do that, that's when that effort that you're making is actually combining and collaborating with intention, and the universe is going to respond in kind. Any action orientation, any action taken moving forward now becomes the action of inspiration, the action of spirit. And you know this moving forward. Not everything has to be a battle. Not everything is meant to be a battle. However, when you are moving from the heart rather than the mind, there is going to be a battle that ensues internally. And that's just something that happens. But Pisces, you've been battling for long enough. You know this battle. You know all the strategies. You know all the pitfalls. You know all the ways in which you can move and change and grow. And you know how to do this. You have had yourself in this kind of slumber and hibernation mode for plenty long enough. Now is the time to wake up, to come out into the world and to show the world that you know how to move in the world. You know how to do this, and you're going to. All right, so let's shift to the full moon in Aries in your second house and focus on yourself and what is changing here. All right, Pisces. So the full moon in Aries, do you guys see that? Oh my gosh. It happens all the time. Anyway, the full moon in Aries in the second house, this is happening on October 9th. Now, there are very minimal notes on this full moon because it was just like this clear cut. This is what's going to be happening. Collectively, this moon phase is going to illuminate for us the path forward. It's going to show us exactly what steps to take, what actions to take. Every right action is going to lead to the right results. So if you take an action and the results are not what you were expecting, it's time to reevaluate whether the action was what you were meant to take or not. This is all about finding harmony through creative innovation of self-expression. So expressing who you are, being really creative, allowing yourself to change and flow. And you know what, Pisces? You're a mutable sign. You can convince yourself as long as you want that you are one way, but you are always. Every way, any way, every way, all ways. That is what you are. So this is a very, very deep Phoenix rising energy because we are receiving collectively the opportunity to really deeply heal soul level emotional wounds, both within our personality, our self, our persona, our egos, our life in this life, but also within our soul, within our spirit. And as we heal these, as we surrender to healing this, as we purify ourselves and cleanse ourselves from these pains and allow ourselves to really step into who we are and knowing the truth of the world and the truth that we all carry within. And I'm going to get to that truth in a minute. When we do this, we move from the heart, we speak from the heart, and we actually help heal collectively the essence of our being. And if you can hear the sirens, I apologize. However, take that as a huge, huge spiritual confirmation. In this way, this moon phase is helping us to heal our souls. And it's doing so through opening us up like a lotus flower to the beauty that is the truth of unconditional love, the love that we all carry within ourselves, the love that we carry within our hearts, the love that we carry within our souls, the love that we carry because it is our truest essence, is unconditional love. Now, if you feel as though you need to do a cleansing during this time, even though you are a water sign, this is a fire moon. So respecting the element that it is and knowing that you have the water to temper it down emotionally is perfect. It is a perfect, beautiful balance. So shamanic fire meditations is a really good technique to use. You can just Google those on YouTube. Also using violet flame purifications, call in Archangel Zadkiel. Archangel Zadkiel is the archangel of forgiveness, self-forgiveness, mercy, grace, blessings. He's just kind of an incredible archangel. He's just very incredible. He's one of my Reiki guides. And so when he stepped forward and said, ask them to call on me during this moon phase, I was more than happy to throw him in there and to say, yes, please, because he is very, very loving and wonderful. So we want to allow for this opening to unconditional love, allow for ourselves to heal the soul through embracing unconditional love and from speaking from a place of unconditional love. So let's take a look at how this is, how you're personally being called. Oh my gosh, you guys. Do you guys see the orbs? It catches me all the time. It just amazes me. They're so prominent right now. All right, so let's find out here. We have Whoa, you guys got 2 cards. Geomancy and patience, and footprints and direction. Remember when I said the right actions lead to the right results, or the right steps will be illuminated? I think that's what I said. This right here. Then we've got the card 10, sacred, breath and sound, life force and communication. Yeah, like I said, this is heart-centered communication. The new moon in Cancer, relax. Whoa. 14 with family tree, expansion and legacy. And Estefania, the one who surrenders, chains, bondage, and release. Okay, so this is falling in your 2nd house. And this is something that I didn't talk about quite yet because I wanted to see the cards first. There was just a different kind of energy here. So the 2nd house is the house of inheritance. Normally I would be like, okay, this is the house of hang on. Okay, there we go. This is the house of self-worth and self-value. And yes, it is. It absolutely is. But this, to me, is speaking a lot about the steps that you have taken to really break yourself free of the path in which your family has traveled prior to you being here in the world. And you not really being able to really relax into your own direction, your own place in the world. And it's because you have this sense that like, okay, I have to wait, or alternately, some of you are feeling the exact opposite, like time is running out and I have to do this. There is a lot of Egyptian energy here. Plus we got past life guides. So I've got Egyptian energy here and Egyptian energy here, Egyptian energy here. I'm also getting Lemurian energy, a lot of deep Lemurian energy, Atlantean energy, Celtic energy, especially with this Estefania, which is very strange because it's a Spanish name, but very, very Celtic, Renaissance area time frame as well. And that would be more Italy and Rome is what I'm picking up with that. As far as the Renaissance goes, 1800s 1800s, 1700s of England. If any of these things are resonating with you, there's something in that for you. I'm just trying to pick up all the messages that are coming in. So these are all pieces that are part of your legacy. They are part of your inheritance. They are part of what make up your life force in this world. This moon phase is asking you to relax and to surrender. Nothing more or less. And I say it nothing more or less, and I can already hear the arguments of that's so much. Yes, it may feel like it is so much, but it is not as much as you think it is, because spirit, your guides, your crossed over loved ones, your ancestors are really going to be doing the heavy weight, the heavy lifting here. Do some breathing techniques. Try the Wim Hof method. Try just deep soul cleansing breathing. Listen to solfeggio frequencies. 741 is a really good one for you guys. I can't remember which one that one is. But let's take a look at your cards. We've got the 9 of Candles, or the 9 of Wands, the 5 of Potions, or the 5 of Cups, the Page of Lightning, or the Page of Swords, and 12 with Suspension, or the Hanged Man. Okay, so number 1, this is Neptunian energy. But number 2, this is what you're letting go of. It's like you need this spark, this inspirational spark. So you may feel as though you can't move any which way in this moon phase because you're going to feel beaten and bloodied. Sorry, guys. You're going to feel beaten and bloodied. Like it just, there's that energy there. And there's also the energy of how long am I going to feel this way? And this is where I come in and I say, it's as simple as surrendering. And when I say it's as simple as surrendering, I am telling you that what you need to do is sit down, turn on some sort of healing music, take some deep breaths, imagine roots going straight into the ground, and then close your eyes and say, ancestors of spirit, Ancestors of the highest light and the highest good, spirit of the highest light and the highest good, guides of the highest light and highest good, I ask for you to take this from me now. I acknowledge how important these things have been for my life. I know the lessons I have learned and the growth I have had or made throughout this process. And I acknowledge that. And now I ask that it be taken from me so I may move forward on my path. You can change it to being whatever derivative of that feels right to you. You can personalize it with whatever it is that you're asking to have surrendered. But do that and then put yourself into a state of childlike trust. Just blind faith trust on this and watch as your life changes. It will be transformative. I don't make promises. I won't make a promise because we all have free will and we all have to take accountability for these steps. But I can feel how transformative it will be for you. If you trust yourself, if you trust the divine, there is direction here for you. You've been plenty patient. You're not running out of time. Now is the time for you. Okay, let's move on to this final moon phase, the third quarter moon in Cancer and the 5th house. Okay, Pisces, we are back and I'm going to do something really off kilter. Spirit just showed me. So I'm going to move my notes here. If you would like to screenshot this, go for it. Okay, I'm going to move that now. Those are the notes for this third quarter moon in Cancer. It's falling in your 5th house. This is romance, it's love, it's self-expression. But Spirit did not want me to talk about this. Spirit wanted me to talk about your dreams, what has been percolating, what has been building, because this is the house in which you need to be focused on right now. And it's not just about October 17th. It's about this being the culmination point for this whole moon phase before we move into Scorpio season. And there's something here about manifestation of true emotional release with you guys. There is this essence that I'm feeling, a lot of sacral chakra, a lot of solar plexus chakra, and a lot of heart chakra energy where they're just kind of unifying together. Even my nail colors feel as though they were chosen for you. It's green and orange, but there's like little specks of gold and yellow in the orange. I was doing fall themes for Maybon, but there's just something here with Piscean energy where you're going to be doing something. You're going to be bringing in something. Okay, so we've been looking at the One Who cards. We started with observation, and then we moved into preparation. And then we moved into surrender. So this moon phase, whereas normally it wouldn't be an action-oriented moon phase, feels like Pisces is stepping up to the plate. I'm actually hearing Casey at Bat. So you might want to check that out. It's like a story that I used to listen to as a kid on a cassette tape. Yes, I'm old enough to remember cassette tapes. I had a Walkman. I used to be one of those kids that stayed up late at night in order to make sure that I pressed the record button, the play and record button for the actual songs that I wanted on mixtapes. I also burned CDs. So there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're too young. Please laugh with me because otherwise I just feel old. All right, Pisces, let's find out what Spirit has in store for you with this 5th house energy in this third quarter moon in Cancer, because I have this feeling that you guys are the wild card. I have not had this calling to change the readings and change the style and change the way in which I'm breaking down the energies until this moon phase and you. And that's the thing about mutable energy. It's changeable. It flexes, it flows. With yours, there's something bigger here. And I've been feeling a lot of that since Piscean season, since your actual season back this spring. But this just feels very prominent for you. So we've got the card 36 with white light. Yeah, the card 21, guide, the illuminated path. I am not, oh my God. Do you guys ever have those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm psychic? I have those moments all the time, and I love those moments. New moon in Capricorn, step up and lead. I told you this was going to be an action-oriented one. You guys have been watching, you've been waiting, you have been literally like analyzing everything because you have been waiting for the exact right time to move. Now is the time. 42, oh my gosh! Prosperity, abundance, and success. Now is the time for you guys to step up and lead because it is literally, look, it's not even a yellow brick road. It's a golden road. And then the one who avenges, nemesis, revenge, outcome, justice. Justice. Guys, that is Libran energy here. You are here to lead. You are here to lead, and now is the time where you've been doing everything you were meant to do. You did it. And I know that I'm projected into the future, but I can feel the energy, and it's like the whole of the cosmos is celebrating you right now. I want you to please pat yourself on the back, Pisces. Even if you haven't gotten here yet, like you're watching this prior to October 17th, pat yourself on the back and know that no matter what you do this month, what you're called to, this is where you are being led right here for you to step into the lead, to know that you are going to have the outcome that you desired, the outcome that you deserve, because you have done all the damn work. You have done it, and now prosperity is here for you. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, were you guys in my 369 pile? Because look, 3, 6, 9. That is Nikola Tesla, and that is energy, that is electricity, that is creation, that is abundance, that is manifestation. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. We have the card 3 with sadness and isolation. The card 2, spread your wings. Look how similar these two cards are. Seriously, look at this. And this sadness and isolation is leading you to find the illuminated path. These cards are so beautifully aligned. And then for step up and lead, we have teach. I have nothing else to say to you guys. Like for this pile, I know we're talking about romance, but this is like you guys have this creative spark about something that you want to do in the world, something you want to teach others, something that you want to share with others that will literally break them free of the illusion of being isolated, the illusion of being alone, the illusion of sadness being the most dominant emotion because of your empathy, because of your compassion, because of your psychic gifts, because of your watery nature. You know how to navigate all of those deep-seated emotions that people don't like to navigate. You are learning how to spread your wings and literally seed light of the highest essence, the highest source. And now it's time for you to step up and teach. You are going to be teaching others. You are going to be sharing it with the world. However it looks in your life, this is what you're called to do. And it's going to bring harmony into everything in your life. All of your relationships, all of the love and the care and the consideration, all of it is right here for you. Pisces, this is amazing. I feel like I say that to you guys all the time. Do I not say that? Like, you guys just astound me. You guys astound me so much. Your energy is such a deep, like, profound, inspirational energy. And I am so always so deeply appreciative of it. I can't even tell you. All right. So we are going to be moving forward here. We're just going to get some closing messages for you to move forward from this reading into the moon phase is in Libra season. So we have now come full circle, right back to the beginning. So we are going right back to where we started in Libra season. I did want to give a shout out to ASO Tarot because that is what this deck was inspired by. She did a video once. She talked about her mega deck and it made me giggle so much. And it was during a time that I really needed the laugh. I really needed that like playful nature because I had lost a lot of hope and a lot of my spark and a lot of my belief that I was meant to do what I'm here doing. And she put mega deck together. And Mega Deck like spoke so much truth to me. That's funny. Yeah, literally brought me so much clarity. And as I was preparing for a reading a while back, I created my own Mega Deck based off of her inspiration. And it was not my own inspiration, but she definitely set the precedent. And this is something where I just wanted to give back and say thank you. This shout out to you, ASO. Thank you so much. So with this mega deck, we're just going to get some closing messages for Pisces rising. We got that one. I want to get one more for you guys. Can I get one more for Pisces? Okay. 2. That one wanted to come out. We have the card 10 with communication. And again, look, this is literally like the telepathy card. And I started with telepathy with you guys. I am not surprised. We have the card 29 with spiritual awakening. The card 2 with angel. I literally said earth angels getting their wings. Oh, that's amazing. Universal light, card 34. And tea leaves foresight. Astral travel, telepathy, earth angels getting their wings. It's time for you guys to dance with life, to wake up and to share what you see, what you know, what you carry within with the world, because y'all are getting your wings and I cannot wait to watch you guys soar. I would apologize for shaking the table, but I'm super excited for you guys seeing these cards. I have not touched energy like this for a while, and I could be just like hopped up on a lot of energy just because I've been channeling a lot of messages and a lot of energy for a lot of days. But Pisces, I want to hug you guys. And it's not in the way of like, I want to hug you because I feel your pain. I want to hug you because I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate with you. I want to tell you before we go, this is not me thanking you for this reading. I'm going to do that later. Thank you for being in this world, for choosing to come down and contract your soul during this time. Thank you. The world needs you. The collective needs you. And I personally can see how much your light matters. So thank you so much. And take that as a confirmation, this little light orb that's coming around. What? Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi and say thank you to the Pisces? Come on. Yeah. Hi, Willow. Yeah, hi, Willow. Willow, say hi and say thank you. All right, Pisces. She's calling for mama. So I want to say thank you one more time. Don't bite. Don't bite. Ow. Ow. She loves chewing on my nails. I want to say thank you one more time. Thank you so much to your guides and my guides. Thank you to Spirit for these amazing messages, for connecting the energies, for bringing everything forth, for bringing us all these amazing, amazing, loving, wonderful moments. Thank you so much. Pisces, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Go ahead and share it out with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit that notification bell up in the corner. If you liked this reading and you want more of readings like this, where it's very in-depth and very long and everything like that, I'm more than happy. I just kind of want to gauge and see how everybody really likes these kind of readings, because I love doing them, but I want to make sure that they actually are serving the collective as I intend for them to. So please let me know. Don't forget to check out my retrograde guidebooks and Something Spiritually Catchy. You can find the link to that down in the description box. If anybody is inclined to donate, it's not expected. It's not required. It's very much appreciated. Links are also in the description box. All right, Pisces, I love you. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you guys next time. Bye. So please